All right, guys, we are going to be working on the giveaway Polaris RZR today. This guy right there. And yes, I got random invasion shit in my garage. We have IBEXX coming up today, so we can work on the clutch. We're going to be putting one of their clutch kits in it and just doing what we can to make this thing awesome. So I'm going to get started. Jorge should be here any minute. I mean, I think he's about 10-15 minutes out. So I'm going to go ahead and get the clutch cover off, get everything ready so we can throw in the clutch kit. And he'll explain why we're using these particular weights, this clutch kit. I use IBEXX for all of my Can-Am stuff. This is my first Polaris that I'm actually doing something to, the Pro R. I haven't got around to it yet, but I think we're going to be doing a turbo kit on that sometime soon. More on that coming later, but this will be the first time tearing into a Polaris and doing more than looks on it, because that's really all I did to the Pro R. I put it on 37s, cage, that type of stuff. It's just a good mob around car, and never got around to the clutch kit. I don't do anything in the winter, it gets cold, but we'll work on this. So the clutch kit is actually right over here. Right here. Belt cover is off. Not very hard at all. It's just an 8mm, and you have 14 of these little bolts. However, that one you have to get up in there. And then the actual clutch cover, also 8mm, you just undo those two clamps, comes right off, and then bam, clutch is open. So we have a special guest, Jorge, also known as Austin. Probably can't say that on YouTube. Maybe I'll edit that. Well, Jorge, also known as Austin, because they're not the same. All right, so
you can say my full name if you want.
yeah, Austin George. So that's where we get Jorge from. Has nothing to do with anything else.
No.
All right, so tool-wise, we need very few tools. What do we need to pull this off, Austin?
So first you need your belt removal tool. Obviously you can use a factory tool on that. We need a 10mm socket, 3/8mm socket, and a ratchet.
Easy.
And or also, forgot to mention, for putting in the helix, you do need our spring compression tool.
Hi, Brianna. Right in the middle of the video. And this is not getting edited out. No, it's not. Or, if you're lazy, power tools.
True.
All right, so what are we pulling off first?
First thing to do is we got to remove the belt. So
get the belt off?
You have your factory belt tool?
Somewhere. We'll be right back with that one. That's what I've been using. All right, we found the stock tool. It's not hard to find. It's in the glove box inside the toolkit. So this goes in there. You wind it up or twist it in, and then you can pull the clutch off. So look at that belt, brand new. It's almost like this has no miles on it. All right, that goes in the belt storage device. Should we pull this out?
Yep. Go ahead and take your tool back out of there.
And again, I am Polaris illiterate. If this was a Can-Am, easy. Look at that. Bam. Perfect. I'm going to put that with the belt. Oh shit. A little bit of aluminum from the threads. That's good. Okay, now what? Should we pop the secondary?
Yeah, we'll do the secondary first, so we're going to go ahead and zip that off with a 10mm.
10mm. I happen to have one. Don't even
It's
have
not
to buy
lost?
extra. No. Brand new toolkit too.
Make sure you don't lose any of those shims and washers.
Yeah.
Oh, that one didn't.
There's nothing else on that one. Is that a Polaris secondary that doesn't need to be shimmed? Okay, put that in our storage device. Pretty. All right. And so this will come apart, you said?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's not as pretty as your Helix.
Alrighty, so now we can go ahead and open up.
Oh, there's the shims. It did come shimmed.
Yes, so you'll...
Do not lose those. I'm gonna go put them with bolt. I'm gonna put them on the bolt. In my bolt storage. All right, now we just need to take this helix out, right?
Yep.
But to do so, it does have a spring in there. So for those of you who don't know much about clutching, inside here is a spring, so that will shoot off. That's what this is for. The secondary compression tool. Is that what you guys call it?
Yeah, secondary spring compression tool. Spring compression tool. Compression tool.
A lot of fun names. That goes on there like that. And the idea here is we're gonna press down on the helix. That way when we bolt it, it just doesn't go shooting off. Because like I said a second ago, there is a spring in there. And that's actually what we're gonna be swapping out with that. This one here. Now what's the difference between these?
So these are your primary springs. We do send 2 of them in the kit. This would be your higher engagement for sand guys.
Okay.
Guys who like to tune higher engagement. This is the lower engagement. A lot of trail riders, mountain trails,
all that fun stuff.
Like that, yeah. People
and then
just like a lower engagement.
this is the secondary one. So I lied to you. That's the primary.
Yes.
All right. So as you can see, he has that down, and then this is all the IBEXX tool. Pushes that down. It's tight. Now, when we go to the bottom and take those 3 bolts off, it's not going to go shooting all over the place. So we'll take those off real quick. We didn't want to show you the boring stuff, but these right here, these 17s, there's 3 of them on the bottom. Pull those off now. Austin is going to slowly spin the tool up, and you can see the helix and the spring in there. Look how that goes. It's like butter. Smooth like butter.
It gets worn in a little bit.
All right. So that is now a paperweight. That, which is much prettier. What's going on? Can you read that? There you go. Pro XP Blue. That was built 5/7 of 2024. Really recent. All right, so now we're going to put the new spring on and the helix. Now the helix, as you can see, you've got your 3 bolt holes there. Make sure as you put it on, you line them up so you can actually tighten it down. When it's compressed, you can still move it around a little bit. It's just easier to get it close. So now he's going to put this back on. There are a lot of ways to do this without this. This IBEXX tool just makes it super convenient. So
even more so when it's mounted to a bench.
Yeah,
So
it's on a bench. Much easier.
But it works.
It's a nice sound.
Yeah. It's not supposed to be that sound.
All right, so as you can see, we're close. So,
But sometimes you do have to kind of go up and down with it to get it to line up, because obviously it has to fit in and then line up your bolt holes. So
we'll get it lined up. All right, so as you can see, the holes line up. So we're just gonna drop those in there, slowly finger tighten them, then we'll get the Milwaukee out and tighten it up that way.
might have to get these 2 tight first.
We'll do those 2 first. All right, tightening it down. And then we're gonna move this over a little bit so we can get the 3rd one in. Okay, done. So now we're gonna pull everything apart, make sure those are actually torqued down. And then we got the secondary pretty much done. Except all the fingerprints that we will clean off. Because those, not ideal for really anything, but it won't hurt it too much. I've never had an issue in the past, but for you guys, we'll make it pretty.
Just a little finger oily.
It's true. That's all you need. Well, I was thinking about like oiling this up, getting some like cooking spray.
Yeah.
It's probably way better on your belt.
It's fantastic for a belt.
Yeah. right, let's crank those things down. So this is how we tighten it. There is probably a method to this, but this is all we do. 1, 2, 3. And so that was like 6 ugga-duggas.
Hey, it works.
Yeah. Pretty secondary, look at that.
Then the only part that, because there's no X's to line up or anything like that, the only thing that really matters is make sure you have the rollers lined up with the ramps.
And these are the ramps right here.
Yes.
Right in there. All right, now we're gonna put the secondary back on. Got the 10mm back on. Gonna slide it on there, nice and pretty.
Sometimes it's easier to put it in gear so it doesn't spin on you.
So he's gonna go put it in gear.
Now it's up.
So you got to get it on the splines and then it'll go all the way in. So make sure that it's all the way up against, and we're just gonna slowly put that back together. Put the shims in there. Done. All right, now we got to do the primary weights. So what is the best way to do the primary weights?
Primary weight, it's a little bit funner than the secondary. But basically, you just have to get this cover off in order to be able to get those sheaves to move back and forth. Because we are going to swap the spring here and then be able to pull these factory weights out.
By the way, we're going to get a lot of hate for the whole torque spec thing. There are torque specs. I'll list them right here. Right there. You can see them on the screen. You're probably supposed to do it that way. However, I haven't done it in years, and I've never had an issue. Now, that's me. You can do the torque specs, which I already listed. You can do that all you want. This is all I've ever used to torque shit, and it works. And Austin's dropping stuff.
Yep.
All right, so now we're gonna go pull apart the primary. So on that one, do I need to put pressure on it once I get the last couple?
Yeah. Yeah, I just kind of go in a pattern to get them off so that it all comes up nice and even.
Take those 3 out first. Put them in my bolt storage tool. All right. Boom. Now we're good. All right. So you got your Allen, which is what size?
1/8 inch.
1/8 inch. And then you got your little 3/8. And on this one, you have to use a socket and a ratchet. You can't use a tool. A little tiny thing. Don't lose that.
Nope.
Very important. So we push it through, pull the bolt out, and there is your primary weight. Look how not pretty that is.
So see that 113 on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna drop those down to about 66.
So that's how much weight it is, 113 grams.
Yes.
So IBEXX, they do lightweight, but it's all about the curve and the pressure it puts on the belt. Is that what, pressure, is that the right word?
Yeah, I mean belt pressure. So see, we actually, it's hard to tell unless you actually get them lined up straight, but we have a lot more aggressive profile, and so it's actually going to direct the energy more efficiently towards the roller versus losing it at a 45-degree angle. So that's how we can get away with running lighter weight but achieving the same belt pressures, if not improved.
And how heavy is that?
About 66 grams.
66 grams versus 113, so not quite half, but that's a big drop. Which, rotational mass, that's a lot of weight.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a lot easier on your primary too, so.
Less rotating mass, better throttle response, less wear and tear, just all around better.
Yeah. All right, now how are we gonna load the weights? So Turbo R right now is bone stock. I mean, it's got cool looking stuff on it, but power wise, bone stock. There's nothing done to it. So how are we gonna load the primary weights for a bone stock Turbo R?
So we're gonna go ahead and start out with a good baseline here. But these will just get you close. There is gonna be some adjustments that you'll have to do depending on where you're at, elevation, horsepower, tire size, different things like that. So we're gonna start out with a good baseline, which will be a 0, 1, 1, 2. So we'll go
What that means, 0, 1, 1, 2. And you can find all of this information on the website, right? The IBEXX website, which I'll put it right here. So you can go to the website and it has all of the machines that they do and what you need to load it for. Now it's not perfect because every machine runs different depending on if you're at sea level. If you're like us, we're about a mile high. So things are gonna run different. So it's gonna get you close. Like Austin said, we're gonna get close, but there is fine tuning. So don't get frustrated if you have to go back and work on it a little bit. You do have to dial it in. Now, most people are just gonna get in and go, and it's gonna be really close. You're not gonna care about that extra 200 RPM like I would on the sand dunes or anything like that. But if you really wanna dial it in, there is stuff on the website. I have a lot of people on the Can-Am stuff reach out to me. But Austin, do you answer the phone still? Is that kind of your thing? So
yeah, if you call in, you'll probably talk to me.
Yeah. So you can call in and talk to Austin if you've exhausted all your attempts online, or you can just call and talk to Austin anyway. That's what I did. But we are gonna start loading these. So how do you put the magnet in?
So it's easy if you just grab a big stack and then just make sure they're seat all the way, but just peel off however many you need in each hole.
So 0, 1, 1, 2.
And so obviously you do that on all three, make sure they're nice and balanced.
You don't want to have them off balance, that's weird. So as you go up in power, you can start adding more weight to each of these holes. Now, the bottom hole right here, your heel, this is for low RPM, right? Is that kind of where your low RPM engagement is right there,
So
or your low RPM pinch?
Yeah, think of these as speed based. So this is your bottom end, and then this will be your top end as the weight swings out.
Yeah, so as you're at wide open throttle, this right here is where it's going to be putting most of that pressure on the belt. So
a quick little hint, say, just for example, if you're super high on RPM, you need to control that, bring it back down, and say at like wide open throttle, we would just add a little bit of weight here, maybe here, depending on where it's at. But that's part of the adjustments that if you call and talk to me, I can help you make.
All right, so now we're going to do the exact same thing to the third one. He already did the second one while I was talking there about some kind of important stuff. I learned a lot on the Can-Am stuff because I did a shit ton of that with the red car. Did a lot of tuning because that never stayed the same power level for more than a few days. So a lot of adjustments on that one. But like I said earlier, these weights will take it. So that weight will go from stock power up to bigger power. Yeah. In fact, these will hold pretty much up until you break the crank, right? I mean, because they break pretty easy at what, 240 horsepower or something like that? I don't know. But that weight right there, this kit will hold about as much as you can throw on the stock motor or throw at the stock motor.
Yeah, we have full-blown E85 cars running the same kit. So there's a ton of adjustability, everything from stock up to big horsepower stuff. Cool.
All right, so now weights. And now we're gonna go put them in.
We're ready to drop them in?
Yeah. So basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna show you the one. We only took one weight out. We'll show you how to put one weight in. It's just rinse and repeat for the other two. There's nothing special to show you on that, but we'll show you how to put this one in and then we'll do the other two. Kind of get in there close.
Just take some lining up and wiggling.
Boom, through. And then he's just gonna put the Allen and the 3/8 on there, tighten it back up. You don't wanna go super crazy tight, just snug it up. That way you don't break the bolt or strip it or anything like that, because then you gotta buy another. We have got it installed, got the weights in there. Now this right here, you're gonna see there is a little bit of movement. That is normal. So if you see that, no, that's a normal thing. Don't just keep trying to crank it down until you snap the bolt in there or something like that. That's a normal deal. So you can see weights are in there. And now basically we just got to put the cover back on. So we're going to put the spring on, the cover on, and we're done. We can head up and start testing, making sure the RPMs are where we want. What do you want the RPMs at on these things?
Stock, we target anywhere between 83 and 8,500.
So stock 83 to 8,500 if you didn't hear that in the background. So that's what we're going to be pushing for out on the sand today. I do have some pretty good sized paddles, 32 Blackbirds. These are the #1 cut. So it should be, they're not, you don't need as much power to spin these ones. So we should be pretty close. But if we have to change out some weights, add some more magnet, all that fun stuff in there, then we will. But we're gonna put the face on. Is that what you call it? The face, the cover? Anyway, put the primary cover back on. That way this thing is done. So we'll get everything ready to go. I'll show you how that looks and then we'll put it back together. All right, so got that, got the spring. So show us how to put the spring in.
Set her in like so.
Very difficult.
So on these ones, you do have to line up these little X's. If you can see on the camera here. Let's rotate the clutch. That little X right there.
Yeah. And then
one on the cover.
That little X right there. They match.
You do want to line those up.
All right, so I'll let you do that and I'll help you start spinning them in. It's much easier to put this one in because there's not as much pressure.
Hardest part is just getting them all to line up and stay.
Yeah. All right, now we're gonna grab our handy dandy tool. And so this one, it's easier with multiple people. So we're gonna go in.
Get out of your way now.
Yeah, so now I got a good start, so it's not moving. Okay, should be pretty much. And again, you can use a torque wrench and all that fun stuff on there. Because I choose not to, doesn't mean that's the right way to do it. It's just faster. And it's always worked. So, knock on wood, I've never had an issue with anything. So, all right, that's done. Clutch kit is in. All we're gonna do is now get the cool little belt tool, that right there. And then we're gonna put the belt back on. Aside from that, we're ready to rip, right?
Yeah, you're ready to go. Easy as that.
Cool. All right, we're gonna put the belt on and then we will get out in the sand and do some testing. All right, we are out at St. Anthony Sand Dunes and we are gonna be testing the clutching on the Turbo R. So like 83 to 8,500 RPM is kind of the ideal for a stock car. So we're gonna drive just back. I just kind of came out here to warm it up because it hasn't been started today. So we'll drive it back and see what it does. And if we need to tweak it, we'll tear it apart back at the parking lot and go from there. All right, here we go. Where were the RPMs at? Just guess.
85 on the money.
84 to 8450.
That's about perfect.
So, like you said earlier, 83 to 8,500, right in the middle. We're done. That simple. So if you're setting these clutches up and don't know what you're doing, look online or call that guy.
This guy. I'll be here.
Yeah, that guy.
This one. Weird.